Welcome to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I'm your host, Debbi DiMaggio. We are here today with Hyleri Katzenberg. Hyleri comes to us from Connecticut and Florida, and she's in Florida today. Welcome, Hyleri.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. We just really got to meet in person or face to face on Zoom, I should say, in the last 10 days or so. And it's so nice to have you again in person. And I just wanted to tell the audience you and I met in a mastermind group. We're in a group of like minded real estate agents throughout the country, and we're always accepting new people to join us. And we all come from different firms, but we're there to share information on various ways we can help our clients and help serve our clients and also educate each other and help us all to elevate. So it's really great because just the other day when we were on the mastermind, it's so great. Everyone's sharing. We're all at different companies and we all do the same thing a little differently. And I just find it so refreshing that we're just all there to help one another. It's so great.
I think that, the illusion, at least from the outside looking in, is that we all compete for business. And,
Absolutely.
it's, there is some of that to some degree, but for the most part, and especially with this group, which I've loved so much, it's such a great collaboration. And people forget, we're really all friendly and, for the most part, help each other. We have to work together constantly. And, we refer business to each other and we, have to have good working relationships to get deals done. We find ourselves, working together on, opposite ends of the deal, but, the best deals are done when two people can really collaborate rather than compete.
Absolutely. One of my favorite quotes is we're colleagues, not competitors. And a lot of people don't understand that from the outside. Most realtors get it, but then there are a handful of realtors that don't get it. I remember when I was training some agents who were coming in and they said, oh, so-and-so friended me on Facebook and so-and-so friended me on LinkedIn. I said, by all means, you need to build your network within your community. But it's interesting how people don't get that. So our group gets it, and it's so great. So I'm so glad to have met you. I'm on the West Coast typically.
And particularly, every deal presents different challenges. And so, to hear how somebody else has sort of straddled that challenge or present a scenario that, we may not have even, thought could come up, and really be able to sort of role play and, or hear how other people have marketed things. It's really been, such a great brainstorming and think tank. And so great to be able to meet agents, because otherwise, how would you and I have met? I mean, you're on the other coast.
Yeah, exactly. West Coast. And so for the audience, whether you're a realtor or you are a viewer who is not in real estate, we work on referral as well. So if now I know Hyleri and I know she works in Connecticut and she'll tell us a little bit more about her markets, but she also works in Florida. Florida is a big state, so she'll tell us again where she works in Florida. But now I have a really great person I can refer my clients to and know that they're going to be taken care of because I know Hyleri and I know how she works. So that is so important because I always want to make sure my clients, like you do, you want to make sure they're well taken care of. I always say I am a mother and I'll always be a mother, and I treat my clients I'm always, treating them like I am their mother too, no matter what age, just to, I take that kind of care, and I know you do too. So it just
Exactly.
feels good that we can refer to agents that are like-minded and passionate and kind, and they really care. So with that,
I'm a
we are going to,
mother and
yeah,
I'm a mother
and
and a grandmother. So
well, I'll get to it at the end of the bio. I just read it and I was so shocked to learn. And it was the last sentence. So we're going to introduce you right now formally. Hyleri Katzenberg is a second generation realtor and UCLA graduate who got her start by working for her mother's brokerage at only 18 years old. Hyleri has called Connecticut home since 1987 and as someone who has worked and lived there for more than 2 decades, she is intimately familiar with the area, including Greenwich, Fairfield, and Westport. Hyleri often works with people looking to escape the city's hustle and bustle in favor of relocating to the suburbs. There's so much to love about Fairfield County, from the beautiful coastline to the range of restaurants to easy access to New York City. Having relocated herself, Hyleri profoundly understands the needs of newcomers. Meeting new people and helping them achieve their real estate goals makes the job worthwhile to Hyleri. She's a hardworking, honest, and caring professional who excels at crafting innovative marketing strategies. When you hire Hyleri, you're hiring someone who will be an advocate for you, protecting you from making potentially damaging decisions. If she senses something is amiss with a potential purchase or the resale value, then Hillary will step in and tell you. She's straightforward and genuinely cares about building relationships more than monetary transactions. Beyond real estate, Hillary is a dedicated philanthropist who has met with the Pope and even been to the White House during the Clinton administration in conjunction with her volunteer work. She founded and became the president of the Bell Foundation, an organization known for granting aid to children with vascular deformities. Hillary is incredibly proud of philanthropy and her business. She looks forward to growing her team and helping clients accomplish their ultimate real estate goals. Outside of her work, Hillary is a dedicated family woman with a big family. She and her husband together have 11 grandchildren. Okay, that when I read that this morning, I couldn't believe it. 11. How do you manage that?
I have to correct that. It's actually 9, so that was a typo, but that's still a lot with number 10 on the way. So
Okay.
it's a pretty big brood.
Yeah.
Mark and I he's my real estate partner as well. It's
Okay.
a lucky number 7. It's his fourth. So lucky number 7. We've come to this. We had 7 kids combined, 7 marriages. So lucky number 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So he had 5 children. I had 2. And then our combined, and then my daughter married someone with 2 kids. So she has 2 stepchildren. So combined, we have 9 with number 10 on the way. And
Oh,
honestly, being a parent is the best part of my life. And I was a young mom, so I get to, be relatively healthy and,
right.
empathetic to enjoy my grandchildren. And, that's
Oh,
very, one of the best parts of my life.
I bet it's so rewarding. That's amazing. Well, you look too young to have grandchildren, first of all, but let alone 9 of them or almost 10.
Well, yeah, 9 and a half.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, Hillary, many of our guests come to us from various careers. Some people started in sales jobs, people were in fitness. One guy was a member of the SWAT team in San Diego. They've come from fitness gurus and from all over. You start, you said you worked for your mom at 18. Was that your first career out of college, or did you have other careers before you really launched into your career in real estate? And tell us your journey to real estate.
Well, I started at 18, honestly, out of, believe it or not, laziness. Boy, did I learn quickly how this is not the job if you're
No.
lazy. I was, coming home. I went to UCLA undergrad, and I would come home summers, and I didn't want to be working in a mall watching the clock. And so I thought, you know what? I look at my mother's, real estate firm. My mother was also an attorney, but she had all these, she was a broker, and she had a firm. She wrote a weekly newspaper column for the Cleveland Press. She was a real dynamo. And I saw her agents that were working for her, and they didn't have to punch a clock. They were, every day was different, and they got to make their own schedule. And I thought, I really just want to lay in the sun and enjoy my time. And if I'm a real estate agent, I don't have to go be indoors at the mall all day every day. I can, get out there and make my own schedule. And if it's a beautiful sunny day, I can just tell people, I'm taking out other clients. So that was my motivation. And I was actually working at a clothing store in the mall, and I thought I'd been there for like hours, and I was going to be ready to, go home soon. And I looked at the clock, and it was like less than an hour. And I thought, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I got my license. I quit. I told them I had mono, but back in our day, mono was one of those things that like you
Right.
were down. And I went to
Exactly.
school, state school, and I got my license. And I thought I was kind of, hot shit, because I got my license when a lot of people were struggling, and friends' parents were, taking the course. And So I thought I was pretty cool. Little did I realize that at 18, it was going to be a real challenge. It's challenging anyway when you're a new agent, but to win the confidence of people to, advocate for them and represent them in the acquisition or disposition of the biggest asset that they own or will acquire
Right.
was, not an easy task at 18, especially when I was only home for, a few months out of the year. So I really had to, think outside the box. And that's when I got this harebrained idea. And that's like, necessity being the mother of invention. And there was this property that was off a very busy beaten track. And it was, a home, but it was right off Chagrin Boulevard in Beechwood, Woodmere. And I went to town hall and I knocked on their door with 4 forms. And I said, will you give me a shot? And they thought I had a lot of chutzpah. So they said, sure. My mom owns the company and, I'm going back to college. So if I don't sell it, then, I will take a very short term listing. So they thought it was cute. They agreed. They let me list it for, 5 weeks or however long it was. Things were a little easier then. So I had like 4 forms with me.
Wow.
Signed these They signed these forms and I took them to town hall and we got the property quickly rezoned commercial.
Oh,
And
wow.
I ended up selling it to Jeannie Garage Door Opener for over ask very quickly before I went back to college. And
That's
so
amazing.
the only way that I needed to do something, really noteworthy.
Yeah.
My mother put a little blurb in the local paper, and then I was able to, win the confidence that way of, my friends' parents to list their homes or help them find homes. And I paid my way through college and bought a car with a little
Wow.
vanity plate on the back, a little
Oh,
Nissan RNX with a vanity plate on the back with my name.
oh my
And
gosh.
that's what started me. And that's kind of been a philosophy and a mindset that I've stuck with, my entire career. I went back into this career as I was going through a second divorce and I was living in Westport, Connecticut. I had 2 young children. And at the time, I was working for a company as VP of New Business Affairs in Manhattan, but I hated that. Especially becoming a single mom again, that I was so away from my children and missing soccer
Right.
games and things like that. So, I thought about getting back into real estate, which was super competitive, which, it is everywhere. And I thought, I
Right.
need an edge again, like I did, when I was in Cleveland working for my mom's company. So going through a divorce, I was on the dating apps. And this was before Realtor.com and Zillow, and it was
Yeah.
before social media. And being on the dating apps, I quickly learned that everyone going through divorce was buying or selling a home.
Wow.
And that became my niche. I would meet someone on the
Oh my,
dating app, I'd list their home, and if I could straddle the fence the right way, this one guy in particular, sweetheart of a guy, I met him on one of the dating apps, went on a date with him, and we didn't click romantically, but I really we became friends, and I sold him a house. I sold
oh
his
my
ex
God.
house. I sold his girlfriend's house. He referred me to a client who bought a house from me in Connecticut, and that client who I much later even sold their home introduced me to my husband, who's also now my
No
partner.
way. Okay, that is the best story. That is insane. You were on the apps. Not only did you sell multiple houses, then you met the husband today, number I can't remember. Three. Okay, I didn't
But
want to
who's
miss.
counting?
Oh my God, what a great story. And so how had you did you sell any more people before you met your husband on the apps, or did
Oh,
you
yeah.
only
In fact, I had someone that was trying to, and you have a moniker on those apps, so it's no one knew my name, but your moniker and your picture,
what
and some
was
of
your
the
moniker? You have to share what your moniker was.
yummy mummy.
Oh God. Oh my God. You got a lot of people calling you.
I was the yummy mommy. So I had a really tongue in cheek kind of, bio on there. It was, I'm totally perfect, that kind of thing. Just really funny. I made a lot of friends, and that was my
Yeah.
sort of way that because when you're single, most of your friends are married and parents, and I didn't want to be a fifth wheel. And it was actually a great way to meet other women, to be friends with and go out with, and, really good networking. I used it as sort of a social media, or, it was a great way to get into that niche and represent the niche community. And the first house I sold was my house, and that sort of paved the way for, and I was a member of the National Association of Divorce Professionals, which
Oh
is
my
a
God.
group of professionals that cater to the divorce industry. So
Okay. I
there
never knew that was a thing. Wow.
yeah,
I have to write that down.
and local chapters. So it's, attorneys, financial planners, therapists. I just got too busy. So unfortunately, I couldn't keep up with my local membership, but was a member for years. And it's
Wow.
just a great networking referral group in different markets. But, my parents were both attorneys. My mother also had the brokerage, but she was also an attorney. My sister is a matrimonial attorney. And, I really, unfortunately, learned the hard way going through the process. It's not a subject I ever wanted to be an expert in, but I became one.
By
And
default, yes.
it's a real niche. There are a lot of, niches, that really feed our growth, but the
Right.
divorce is a big one. And I was even at the end. I think so much of what we do anyway, Debbie, is like, that game concentration, where you flip over a card and you have to remember where the other one is, and,
Right.
match.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of, when you're getting divorced, it's the same kind of thing. And I applied that also to a lot of my clients that were newly single. And I started being, a real matchmaker, not just of homes, but,
Right.
we're portals to the communities that,
Absolutely. We are.
are buying. And so I was doing a lot of fixing people up with each other. I was, helping people find jobs, nanny care, that kind of thing. And I started giving seminars on how to date, mate, and relate really great.
Wow.
And so
That's,
it
I'm
was,
surprised you didn't go into professional matchmaking.
well, I never thought I could charge for that, because I thought that was just kind of one of those pay it forward things you're supposed to
Right.
do.
Right.
I love it so much. I had matchmakers calling me going, "Do you have any girls for this guy? Do you have any?" And
That
so,
is so funny. Oh my, you got to come to my friends on the West Coast. I have a handful looking for people, so I'll have them call you.
well, I happy to help if they're willing to do a little traveling. But I'm always fixing people up, and I'm, love to help people find their jobs and their daycare. And I really do think if you would sort of define what we do in a nutshell, and if we do it
Mhm.
right, we are a portal to the community, especially nowadays with the migration. What's going on in California is so terrible.
It's terrible.
And I'm getting calls all the time from, now from agents there saying, I want to refer someone that is thinking about relocating, and, whose houses have either burned down or renting because they can't find
Right.
rentals, or, it's just put such stress and demand on the
It's
market.
it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Well, you clearly love what you do. And yes, we are portals. I always say, I mean, people who don't even know me will call me if they said, if they need something, a referral or recommendation, they'll say, you don't know me, but I know you know everything about, you're a really good connector. So anytime someone calls me, I'm like, oh, sure, I have three of those people, or, but we are portals. I didn't think of it. I think of us as connectors, but we are complete portals to, if someone's couple comes into town or family and maybe the wife wants to get into charity work, I can direct them. Or if their children are, one person wanted Irish dancing. I had never had that before. And I, found an Irish dancing for them. So we really help people assimilate. Not only do we help them, facilitate whether they're moving in or moving out and selling their houses, but we really help them acclimate to the community so they can feel part of it.
And also, to advocate for them if they, it's really important in our job description that we are somebody that can earn the trust of
Mm.
our clients, and we have to be trustworthy. And when you were reading my bio, just to, sort of elucidate on the fact that, the integrity and, shepherding your client into the right purchase, because they don't know the area and they don't know what, is maybe not going to be an easy resale. And it's
Exactly.
really important to me to be, a relationship agent rather than a transactional agent. And, I've probably, my husband would attest to, talked buyers out of more purchases than I've ever, tried to talk them into.
Right.
It's either it or it isn't. But I do think people overlook things. Particularly, one of our biggest feeder markets is Manhattan. We're a easy commute to Manhattan, and people are used to living on in it's busy and crowded and noisy, and they're moving to the suburbs, and they don't see necessarily a home that's right off a busy road as being a detriment. They are, in their mind, I can walk to things and
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But for resale, people don't look at it that way. So pointing out the negatives, um, not fun, but it's one of the most important things I
Oh,
do.
absolutely. I've definitely told people this is not a house. Or also, I've also said, even if they've really liked it, I would say, I just need you to know that this isn't going to be a great house for resale. It's up to you, of course, but yes, I mean, I just feel it's so personal to be able to share that, like you with the busy road. New York, yes, a busy road is fine. When you're in Florida, no, that's probably not the best location. Of course, we can only facilitate what they want, but when I was reading your bio just now, it definitely resonated. I'm not a transactional. People say, what do you make? How much do you make here? I don't know. I just keep helping more people. It's about helping and facilitating, educating them. We're not selling to them, because we can absolutely not sell a house to someone. They will walk into that house and they oh, this is not the house, or it doesn't feel right to them. It doesn't matter what we think. We can help them through inspections. We can help them understand the house, the neighborhood. We can share everything we know, but it's up to them. They have to feel it before they're going to buy.
Absolutely. It's not like selling a shirt where you can tell, this house looks beautiful with your eyes, or, it's,
Right. Exactly. Well, we have been going on. We've got to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Hyleri Katzenberg. Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I'm your host, Debbi DiMaggio. We are here with Hyleri Katzenberg. Hyleri, before we get more into more questions, you have such a great personality. I mean, I think so many people are going to be attracted to your honesty, your friendliness, your ability to really navigate your communities. Tell us your two areas of expertise so people, when they can call on you when they're looking to buy or sell or rent in your areas. And tell us a little bit about the areas.
Oh, so Fairfield County, Connecticut is about an hour from Manhattan, Greenwich being the closest on the New York border, all the way up to, Fairfield and Trumbull and beyond, Bridgeport. I have a team of 6. We're called Luxe Latitudes of Compass. The tagline being, let us help you adjust your latitude,
Oh,
and which means moving.
yeah.
So we, handle everything from in the entire state up to, say, like New Haven area. The 6 members of my team all have kind of, different areas of expertise, but we work great together. And I have a wonderful assistant that, because otherwise I couldn't navigate two different markets and sell in two markets. My husband, I made him get his license during the pandemic. He's a restaurant owner, and I said, and he was sort of quasi retired, and I said, get off your ass. And we were so crazy busy, as most people were, that I really needed all hands on deck. Fairfield County is on the coast. It's a lot of, Manhattan, people that commute to Manhattan. Not as much now that people are going remote. So people are not, a lot of people that are moving further from the city are not feeling that, as tethered. If they're working part-time remote, or so we're finding more demand even, further up the line. But Manhattan's been our biggest feeder market to our area, though now we're finding a lot of transplants from other areas. It really works well with my second market, which is Palm Beach County, Florida. And that being because so many people are buying second homes or retiring down here, or, moving to their second home full time and needing to upsize. So a lot of our market, we can sell their home in Connecticut and then find them a house down in, or a condo down in the Florida area. So we have
Nice.
a condo in, on Singer Island. And my husband knows Florida better than anyone. He owned a huge chain of restaurants called 2J's for many years that he founded, and sold it back in 2000. But he had them all over the state. So he knows the state really well. And, it's a little bit of a juggle to be in two markets, but thankfully I have a great team in both markets, so that, when I'm not there, I've got people that are very hands on deck. And it's been, it's been sort of a good symbiotic relationship in that we spend more time in Florida when it's very cold up north, and things kind of die down over the
Right.
holidays, and we get back up there for the spring market when the new season, and that's when things, are kind of going off season here. So the markets and the seasons work well with each
Yeah,
other.
definitely, especially because I'm in New York right now and it's so cold. How could people live here when it gets so cold, of being from California? So tell me some of the things, or a few things, that you love about real estate, and some of the things you don't like so much.
Well, one of the things that I really don't like was these recent bidding wars, because being
Oh,
on either side of it is really frustrating, and frustrating for your clients. And,
right.
you can only bid as much as your client is willing to go. And I never wanted anyone to be house poor and to watch people. And then people worried about resale. Like, who knows what the market's going to do in a few years? It was such an
Absolutely.
unprecedented, um, the pandemic is just, it was such a unique situation. And I just hated to see people spend so much more than what a home was listed for pre-pandemic, and then losing, a bidding war when their heart was set, and not being able to, that
Terrible.
was
No.
really, really hard. And also being the listing agent, where you get 10 bids and you've got to make 9 phone calls,
Ugh,
to the, only one of those phone calls was a good one.
I
Nine of
know.
them
It's terrible.
were, sorry you didn't get it, and a lot of disappointment. So
Right.
that's, I would say, one of the worst parts of, our job. I've had some tricky clients, and I'm at a point in my career where, um, I've been happy to sort of walk away from someone that I didn't think I was a good match
Right.
for.
Yes.
Um, if somebody thinks they know everything about the market and they're not right. I mean, I've been doing this for a really, really long time,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say my piece, and it's up to them to make the decision of what they want to do. But I'm not doing my job right if I don't counsel them and advise them. And
Right.
everybody gets those people that think they know better than you do, and it's really hard, or that is, you know you just know is not, and then they're frustrated they didn't get it, and it's, not that you want to do an I told you so, but
Right.
anyway,
And I think that's
those
one.
parts.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think we learned because both of us have been doing this for so long. That's one of the things, if we were to tell our younger self or tell someone who's just starting out, when you're new, you kind of just want to you just want a deal. You want your first deal. So people try so hard that they'll try like random things, random deals, and work with people that aren't a right fit or out of their area. One of our agents call me the other day, and he wanted to work a completely different area, and it, you don't even know your area yet, let alone a place that's 5 hours away from you. But that would be a piece of advice I would give anyone starting real estate is if it's not the right fit, it's not the right fit. One of the things that I say when an agent comes to me and says I didn't get the listing, it's not maybe that you didn't have the experience or you didn't give them the information. It's that people connect. We're human, so we connect with people. If we don't have a connection, it's not anything. It's just that we can't be connected with everyone. We're all different. We're all unique, and that goes back to we can't really be competitive because we're different human beings. We have different backgrounds and different styles and different energy levels. So it's to not take it personally would be one. And then the other is if it's not right, like you were saying, you have to know when to walk away. It's only going to get worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's, often I see listings that, we've canceled and or mutually or for whatever reason, and then the property goes back on the market and the next agent cancels it too. I just had that with a recent, very difficult client, and the property got canceled again and was on the market for a long time. And so glad that I kind of really made the executive decision that we should just walk away from this and cancel
Yeah.
this listing. But you're right. In the beginning of our career, we're just, a lot more people pleasers. And I think that comes with youth and lack
Right.
of experience. And you get to a certain point where I know what I offer. I know what my expertise is, and I'm confident enough with that. And there's enough business to go around,
Absolutely.
fortunately.
I hear
And
that a lot. I definitely hear that a lot, that there is enough business to go around. And we want to work with people that will, as my husband says, appreciates my skill, knowledge, and experience. Because after 35 years of doing something, we are experts. I'm not experts in 1,000 different things, but what I do know, and I can say with conviction, and I know you can too, I'm really good at what I do. I'm not bragging. I've just been doing it a long time. So it's just part of my DNA. I can't help it.
exactly. And people think, well, I've bought a house before, or so they know. And you just don't know from buying one house until you've
Right.
done creative deals. And I actually love when you ask me, what do I love about this business?
Yeah.
I love doing creative deals, finding a way to get a deal done where people don't see, they're at an impasse. And I've had attorneys, come to me and say, wow, I didn't ever think that deal would get done. That was really interesting.
Right.
I love to look at now I've gotten into doing virtual staging, and it's a lot of fun. I love design, and gutted my own residence and redesigned it myself, and I love that aspect of it. And I love that now with AI and all the virtual reality, and that we can take a picture of a room and I can go in and work it and virtually stage it and put it with the listing. And I taught myself how to do that this year.
You did it
And
yourself. I've
yeah,
paid people to do that, but I haven't done it myself.
I did too. I used to too. And I thought, I'm telling them what to do and I'm doing all that. How hard could this be? And I sort of
So
taught
let's
myself how
stop there. What program are you using? Share what program you're using.
it's called Apply Design is the one that I prefer.
Okay.
Um, it's tricky because you've got to, the right scale for the room. You've got to grow or, whatever, and you've got to move it around in the room and you've got to
Oh
pick.
my gosh.
It's tricky, but it's a puzzle to me. And I
Right.
love that. It's like, putting this puzzle together,
Yeah.
and it's another thing that I can offer my clients that most people, and I don't charge for it. It's part of my
Right.
marketing.
Right.
So it's just, something that gives my sellers a little bit of an extra leg up. We
Yep.
did have one that I virtually staged that was new construction,
Did you do
And
the whole house?
I did, but then I also
It's a lot of work.
we also ended up having him actually stage it. So
Right.
we had different pictures because in that situation, it was, there were some odd rooms and things like that that I really wanted people to actually walk into. But what we did was with the virtual staging is we blew up like posters and put it on like an easel board so that you actually walked into the room and could see, so there were some rooms that weren't actually staged that we still
Right.
kept our easels in, and we got it sold pretty quickly that way, and it would have been quite challenging otherwise. So I love that I can add that to my repertoire. Our marketing is really on a next level.
So let's
um,
talk about that. Okay, you're going to list a house and walk us through what you do to from listing the house to presentation to marketing.
so I have a conglomerate of suites that I use, but one thing that I've really loved is being able to syndicate it out to through different channels to Robb Report, DuPont Registry, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, James Edition, Mansion Global. We market it to 104 countries, I think is the current in their languages and currencies. So it's kind of a kick for, our clients to see, they're listing in, Japanese on,
Right.
the yen and other markets. But so we do, I mean, that's expensive marketing, and we do that with all of our $1 million plus listings. And we have a great media kit that shows, our reach like that. And, we've been so impactful with that, actually I had someone contact me recently that had a development in Turks and Caicos, and we're not licensed in Turks and Caicos, but we were able to find a way to work together as the marketing.
I was just going to say, do you guys have, I've done this in Italy. Do you have a marketing agreement?
We had a marketing agreement and we had a referral arrangement to get paid and
Mhm.
marketed resorts and villas in North Caicos. So actually have a co-list on one there in the same sort of arrangement that's on beachfront in North Caicos. And, that came to us from our marketing. I have
Yeah.
a great person that I finally delegated my social media to because it was taking so much time. And, I was born in a day and age where a mouse was something fed cheese in a cage. And now it's already obsolete in this
Right.
technology
I
world.
know when
So
someone tries to use a mouse on the computer, I'm like, why are you doing?
I know, but I mean, I didn't grow up in internet day and age
Right.
and social media. And my assistant, who's wonderful and she's licensed, she's an agent also and can cover me when I'm gone, but she's a whiz and she handles my social media for me. And it took a lot off my plate, but it's not easy to do as, a real estate agent that has been successful, that knows, how to do everything and is
Right.
self-sufficient. And, to delegate is not easy for me.
Oh,
And it's
very
something
hard to delegate. I'm a control freak. It's
I'm
very difficult. I like to use Canva, so I won't give up the marketing part because I love working with Canva. I will not do virtual staging. That just, I mean, I will hire that out. I've used it before and I love it because I had a house. Usually we stage all of our houses, but one couple times we didn't because they were major fixers and it wasn't worth it. But the virtual staging was great.
a
So
lot of fun. I'm actually
yeah,
really enjoying it. There was a big learning curve involved, but
I
I'm
bet.
really enjoying it. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I think that also really helps us in what we do to have that vision and come
Right.
in and see, something as sort of a blank canvas. If someone is, if it's close and you can make it work, and to be able to share that vision with your clients and have them see it in a way that they may not have been able to view it before. And I do hate when somebody is so convinced that they want to buy something because it's beautifully staged and it's on a busy street or it's got a buried oil tank or whatever reason, and I'm
Right.
constantly dissuading people from that. But for the right properties, I love to be able to kind of share my vision of what it could be.
Oh, absolutely. So tell me, so we are in, I'm in Northern California near San Francisco. I'm outside of San Francisco in the East Bay. We don't have a ton of people who relocate. We have people who come from San Francisco all the time. We're 20 minutes from San Francisco. So for Connecticut and I would imagine for Florida, maybe, I don't know the area that you're in Florida, but do you have people international people coming to live in your areas?
Absolutely,
Okay.
especially in Florida. Connecticut, not as much. I actually um, just listed a home in Wilton, Connecticut, and the owners moved to Italy, so they, moved abroad. But, yeah, we constantly have people coming to Florida from all over. Brazil and South America is a big feeder
Right, a lot
market.
of South America. I remember being in Florida a few times and everyone was speaking Spanish.
Yeah, so there's a big, but also really, Northeast and Midwest is a big feeder market too to Florida for obvious reasons. And, it's a great tax haven in terms of the
Right.
fact that you're here for
Oh,
six
you're
months.
lucky to have that because that definitely gives you so many more people and everyone,
And I
California.
registered to vote here because Connecticut is, my vote doesn't count as much in Connecticut. It's always sort of, votes um, one way. And this
Right,
has been a swing state more recently. So I
right,
thought my vote counted more. Not so much of a swing state anymore, but
right, right. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with Hillary and we have another 15 minutes with her. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I'm your host, Debbi DiMaggio. We are here with Hillary. She works two markets. She works Connecticut and I guess, would you say Southern Connecticut or how? I mean, it can't just be all of
yeah,
Connecticut.
it's Southern Connecticut. We don't really handle Hartford. We'll refer that out, which is closer to
Okay.
Boston. So if you think of Connecticut, there's the Boston side of Connecticut, and then there's the New York City side of Connecticut. We're the
Okay.
sort of New York City, suburbs.
Okay. Never thought of it that way before, but yes. So you Southern Connecticut and then you're in the Palm Beach area. Is that where? Give us a visual between where you
So
are. I know
local
Miami, but I
Oh, well, where I particularly am is just north of Palm Beach.
okay.
And so Singer Island we're kind of in between like West Palm, Palm Beach, and Jupiter, North, Palm Beach Gardens, North Palm Beach. We're
Okay.
on the ocean, so we're, right in between all those places in Palm Beach County. But Palm Beach County extends to like, Delray, Boynton Beach, Boca, all those areas.
Okay. Perfect. So tell us how, because you're so busy and you also have children and grandchildren. So do you use any apps? And how do you stay organized? I know you have a lot of helpers and stuff, but how are you staying organized personally and how do you organize your day? And are there any apps or tools that you rely on?
My best tool, and I shouldn't refer as a tool because it's a human, is, is my assistant. She's really wonderful, and she's taken a lot, Courtney, off my plate, and she's done such a great job that actually I have other people calling me, wanting to hire her out, and she's done some other stuff. My son-in-law, who's in the renovation business and building business, is just called me today and said, "Can I please use Courtney for?" So she's really terrific, and she's really given me the opportunity to be able to be in two places at the same time because I couldn't leave for an extended period of time if she weren't licensed and couldn't cover me.
Right.
But in terms of apps and tools, I Compass's technology has really helped me because they have their own sort of Canva within and
Hmm.
market center. So they've used that sort of technology, but it's within the Compass suite of tools. So that's really helped. There was a huge learning curve for me when I came over to Compass because it's such a tech savvy company. Um, but that's been really helpful. I feel like I use different apps for different things. Um, and as Compass has grown their technology and in-house stuff, I've been able to let go of like DocuSign because now we have, all within it's all within the Compass platform to do e-sign and stuff. But
Oh,
every time there's new technology, it's always like, oh my God, now I got to learn this.
I
I
know.
just
There's
this
too many
dinosaur.
things. I think
Yeah,
at one time I tried, someone will introduce you to something, so you try it, and then you try it, and you try it, and all of a sudden you're like, I have so many apps that I don't have time to even, and then you download it, and then you forget about it. So now I'm kind of going
had a
back and going, I
new phone.
don't need that. I'm
I
not
just got
using
a new phone, so I had to like, reassess all my apps and then figure out how to go actually into, the Apple thing and cancel all these
it.
things because once you try it, you do the free trial, they keep billing you and
Oh,
you
it
forget.
makes
And
me
I
sick.
don't even know how many hundreds or thousands of dollars I've spent,
I
monthly.
It makes me sick. I know so many. Well, just so one of the things that I've learned from, well, our masterminds, as well as interviewing different agents like yourself, a lot of them really rely on a simple to-do list. People just, if, and I was telling my daughter that today, and she, oh, I have to-do lists. And I kind of for years have just flown by the seat of my pants, remembered everything. And so now just listening on this podcast, I love it because I'm learning so much from everyone. And I think I'm busy. And when I talk to agents like you, I'm like, I am standing still. I got to keep up. But everyone seems to have a to-do list. And I've also never used a CRM, which I'm just now, after 35 years, going to try to start implementing one with the help of a coaching service I'm working with. But do you use a to-do list, or do you just call
I have a
Courtney?
to-don't list for sure. But, um, that's what I'm better at curating and telling my team members. My team and I meet every Tuesday morning, and one of the best parts of what I do, honestly, is also being able to be a mentor, not just to my
Right.
clients in acquiring or disposing of their property, but also to my team members who all came to me from different backgrounds. And one of them was a client that I had sold many homes to. And when she got licensed, I said, well, you got to come work with me. And
Nice.
another one was, someone that owned a lot of commercial property in the area and decided he wanted to go into this. And someone else is a declutterer on my team. She has a
Oh,
very
nice.
successful
Yeah.
decluttering business. And, she's really been great in, you know,
That is key. That is something key every agent needs. I have that too. Or decluttering, or helping, or packing, helping people pack. And
absolutely. So I,
so
I mean, every Tuesday, I'm really giving pep talks in these meetings and giving them different ideas and things to do and what not to do. And I think that's more than anything what not to do. And meeting agents in other markets for me is a big to-do list, and really understanding what they do because I do a lot of referring and I get a lot of referrals and it's so important to me that I put, my clients, if they trusted me to do it, I have to put them in hands that I have, curated and know, is going to take care of them just like I would. And
absolutely.
that's why these kinds of relationships are so important and really getting to know who you're handing your clients off to because it blows back on you, both.
Absolutely. And there's so many agents out there. You just can't randomly go to South Connecticut. Who's the person? Because I know in my market, if you try to Google like top agent in Piedmont, you'll get people who we don't even know. Like they're not even in our area. They've never sold a house in our area, but because they paid, they're at the top. And that is so frustrating. But yeah, so developing the relationship is so important. I wanted to Oh, I wanted to ask you. So, as we know, we as realtors, it's very hard for us to delegate, and it's hard for us. We're such control freaks because we want to take care of our clients the way we want to take care of them. So, I know it's very difficult, and I'm sure it was for you until you found this person that works with you and helps you. What what are you having her do for you? What will give us like, I don't know, 5 to 10 things that she could do for you? I would love to know so I could. My son is working with us now, and I'd love to be able to give him more to do, but I
Well,
don't.
my son got his feet wet in the business during the pandemic and worked for me. So it's not easy
Yeah,
managing your family members, particularly poor Andrew was, living home because of the pandemic and everything else. And that was, and my assistant. And it wasn't like he could leave work because he lived
right.
with us. And
I know.
I'm his stepmom. So, there was, that was an interesting dynamic, but now he's a very successful agent in Manhattan and gives
Nice.
me a lot of credit for teaching him the ropes.
Oh,
But
that's
you
great.
know, it's delegating to her is kind of I started off because I was doing all my own social media and all that stuff, and little by little giving little pieces until I was really comfortable that she could just sign in and be on automatic pilot. And people will say to me, God, I loved what you posted today, and I'm like, oh, I have to look, what did I post?
Right.
With AI, like I have a beautiful red outfit that she always puts me in for, Valentine's Day. And my kids are like,
Oh,
where? And I'm like, I don't own it. It's AI.
I love that.
So that same outfit is green on, on Patty's Day. So
Oh my
I,
God, that's so great.
but she really mostly does all my social media.
Okay.
Um, but she also, because she's licensed, will show for me,
Okay.
and do, go out and take pictures of something or video. I have her go to photo shoots. I have her go to inspections, things where, it just takes a lot of time and you have to
Right.
sit there. It's really taken a lot off my plate. And also my husband loves to do that kind of thing, and he doesn't write contracts or offers or anything like
Right.
that. It's just a mental block of his. So, I do all of that and then, kind of figure out certain marketing strategies, even though I
Right.
like will hand it off to her. But even just to give somebody all of your sign in information,
Right.
that takes time to be able to trust somebody. And if I didn't have her, it would be another big sort of learning curve and, earning trust situation to
Right.
have to, bring somebody else on board to do that stuff. So she started as a summer intern in college
Oh,
for me.
okay. Okay.
And little
Um,
by little, I've given her more and more.
yeah. Once they start to work, and it's slowly, and then you start to build the trust, and they're doing it the way you like it. It's just it takes a little time.
Yeah.
So tell us, I bet you, what's your morning routine like? Do you have a morning routine that you subscribe to? I've had everyone all of my guests have
Really,
had a morning routine. One guy said, I don't get up till 12 o'clock.
I don't love mornings. I'm
Okay.
not a big morning person. Um, Not to say that I sleep late, because it really depends on what the day is. But most of my days start early, but I don't love that. And in the morning before I get out of bed, I have three things that I do just to sort of help me. My husband brings me a cup of coffee because I can't have a conversation until I've had my cup of coffee, and I don't want to leave my bed before I have coffee. So I start with a really nice cup of coffee and I do my Wordle, and I actually do Wordle, and then I have a Wordle app. So I'll do the New York Times Wordle, and then I do a Wordle app, and I play one game of solitaire. That starts my day because it gets my mind thinking. I've got my coffee in me, and then I can get out of bed you know, but it's also just my me time to transition from being asleep to, all right, now's, showtime.
Right. That's
That's my
awesome.
entire morning routine. Tuesdays, it's team meetings, and I mean, the
Right.
business that we're in, there's no day that's exactly like another.
No, that's, yeah, we do this. My husband always says, and we've been working together for 35 years. We do the same thing differently every day. We never know what it's going to be, but that's what makes it so exciting. can't really imagine doing anything else. And I think about it a lot. But we get to meet people all the time. We're always interacting with people. We're hearing people's stories. We're helping people. I mean, it's just,
So,
um,
Debbie, do you guys sort of have different strengths or different aspects of the business that you both focus on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So he likes contracts. I hate I mean, I used to do them before we really decided to partner. We were working, we worked in the business, but we did our own stuff. And then when we partnered together, it really works because I'm the marketing. I love the creative. I love the design. I mean, I walk into a house, I don't see what's in front of me, whether it's a mess or what. I see the house painted white. I see the staging. I don't even look, I don't even see their things,
Yeah.
and then he's very good. I mean, I'm much more hyper. He's very calm. He likes to do the contracts. He's very like crosses T's, dots I's. I love to be out there meeting people and helping people. And I'm just constantly, I'm on the East Coast right now. And now I just have 3 more hours of time because we're 3 hours ahead. So I'm bothering everyone. And then he's also really good. One thing that you mentioned about being creative in deals, he's super creative. He was in financing for a while, so he really knows how to work the numbers and help a buyer and a seller come together on price, the way you structure the loan, and maybe buy down the loan with points. So he's very creative that way.
Especially in as markets get challenging, it's so important. And also, like, when there was so many bidding wars during the pandemic and everything, to really find out what's the seller most interested in. Maybe that closing date's going to make a whole big difference. Or
Absolutely.
leasing back, I had a lot of situations where the seller got to stay there way beyond the closing for a nominal amount, and that really sweetened the pot. I did one deal. This is before the pandemic. This was a while ago, where we bid way over ask for a property that had been on the market for a long time, and it was because you could see a busy road from the property. And so we went in several hundred thousand over ask, but they wanted to build into their mortgage that they were going to do a pool house, mature trees to obscure
Oh,
that busy road,
okay.
a generator, gate, an out. We put in all these extra things that we were able to get the builder, because the property was just vacant and they were having trouble selling it. We were able to get them to agree and put it into the deal, and my client could amortize
Wow.
that into the loan to pay for these things rather than coming out of pocket after the fact. And because the house was vacant, they were able to actually move in and rent it while these
Oh,
things were
nice.
going. So, it's like the first deal that I ever made, where I could say, hey, this is not going to sell so easily, and it hasn't, as a single family home in this busy area. But getting it rezoned commercial, and thinking outside the box and looking
Right.
at something from the outside in. And it's funny, because the first attorney that was representing these clients that I did thought, never are we going to get this deal done. And he was very negative about it, to the point where I finally said, we're going to have to switch attorneys. And I went to someone who I knew would be a lot more game for
Right.
something like that. And then the other attorney, who owns a ton of properties in Westport and is a really busy attorney, called me up and humbly said, can
Oh,
you just walk me through how you got that done? Because
wow.
I'm always willing to. I thought that was really pretty cool of him, because it was. And I appreciated, but I had a lot of motivation in getting this deal
Right.
done.
Absolutely. No, and just, I know we have to wrap it up because we're at the top of the hour, but one of the things is, just for you and for me, is that you're very knowledgeable in your market. I am. And the only reason why I'm working on a deal right now, the only reason why, because the attorneys gave up. The attorneys, well, they didn't give up, but they said, I didn't want to interfere because the client's paying the attorney it was this title issue. And I said, well, is it now time? Can I now go to the mayor elect, because I know her personally? And the attorney finally said, do it. I'm out. I'm out of out of cards. I have no idea what to do. So I went to her and she got things moved ahead, the next day we had the letter, and it's because of our relationship. So you can
Good for
be
you.
some kind of agent who's not, hasn't been doing it that long, but if you work with someone like you and me who really knows the people and the players, we can help push things through. And my client said, and she's
Absolutely.
a super bigwig, and she said this would never have happened. We would have not moved the needle if it hadn't been for your connections, and that comes with
Yeah,
experience. And
it does. And you can't, there's no shortcuts to experience. You got to
right,
live through it and learn from it. So
absolutely.
kudos to
So
the
how can
client.
people get a hold of you? They can always call me Debbi DiMaggio to get you. I will be happy to refer you, but tell us how the easiest way to get a hold of you.
Well, my phone number is 203-246-8395. You can go to my website, luxelatitudes.com. It's Luxe latitudes, LATITUDES.com, all one word. My email address is my first name, which is spelled unusually, Hyleri at luxelatitudes.com. And you can find me at Hyleri on my social media on Instagram,
Awesome.
Lux Latitudes team of Compass, Connecticut on Facebook and, LinkedIn. And so I'm hard to miss. If you Google me, you'll find a lot.
Just put in Hillary, Hyleri, I think. Yes.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
thank you so much, Hillary. I look forward to having you on again, and I look forward to visiting you in Connecticut and Florida and referring you
Likewise.
business. Thank you
Likewise.
so much.
Thank you for having me. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Real Estate with host Debbi DiMaggio. Here Fridays, noon Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network. Tune in to where real estate matters matter.